there should be a Pokemon MTG crossover. Let's not do the Fortnitification thing. Do you know how many crossovers Magic the Gatherings already have? Let's see if we can find that. Like, I like Fortnite, but Fortnite has done like a really fucked up thing to the gaming industry, right? And it's like something that I didn't really think of as fucked up for a long time. It wasn't something that I thought was a bad thing until recently, right? Because it starts to homogenize games and make them all feel the same, or at least the way that they're going to try to hook players the same, right? We can look at an exhaustive list of like all the universes beyond stuff for Magic the Gathering, and there's been a lot. We've had Fallout, Assassin's Creed, Jurassic Park, Doctor Who, Lord of the Rings, Dungeons and Dragons, which makes sense. If I'm honest, it makes sense. Transformers doesn't make sense so much. I believe we also had Warhammer, and there was some like Street Fighter ones too, like very small like Street Fighter ones. Yeah, Secret Lair X Street Fighter. That does not look like Chun-Li. That does not look like Chun. This is a generic Chinese girl in Chun-Li's outfit. Look, man. That's Honda. That does not look like Ryu. That does not look like Ken. That's Blanca. That's Dalton. Yeah, those are fair. Guile? Okay, yeah, that's Guile. This Zangief looks pretty sick too. I need to buy a friend this card. I gotta find out how much it is, where I can buy it, and buy this for my friend Mean Buffalo. He bought me this Sonic figure, or I guess he bought it and then he gave it to me. I don't think he specifically bought it for me. And then also this that I put together on stream once, and I know he loves Zangief, so I gotta get him Zangief. Zangief. Yeah, Secret Lair X Fortnite. You see the problem here? Secret Lair X Arcane, Stranger Things. The list is exhaustive. Walking Dead. Why do these products exist? Yeah, let's see why these products exist. The main reason I've seen so far is that Magic has already explained universes beyond its own limits with novels, comics, video games, and legends. That went well, and even D&D modules. It would be reasonable to bring other media into Magic. This might attract fans of those other products and increase MTG's sales. Okay, so the reason why this is both a good thing and a bad thing is it means that you have to try to convince people outside of liking that specific IP to also be interested in your core game mechanics and core game design, right? Because you can make Magic the Gathering cards feel like The Walking Dead, feel like Transformers, feel like Stranger Things, but you can't make, and you shouldn't make core set game design mechanics feel like these other sets. Right? You can distill these cards, you can distill these IPs down into a few cards, but you shouldn't throw these into like general sets and try to make them work. And because of that, it means that the audience of people who like the things moving forward aren't. It's not going to be a huge crossover, right? You're Fortnitificationing your game in an attempt to maybe get like 5% of the people who buy that product. I know people who bought the Fallout Commander decks and are never playing Magic the Gathering outside of those Commander decks, right? Sure, you made your $40 sale, but now you've introduced all these new cards into a format and these new mechanics into a format of Commander, and you're basically, adding more things for Commander players who probably aren't a big fan of some of the additions to the game in a Fallout sense, right? In a crossover type sense. I think the same thing about things like Fortnite, right? Because I think Fortnite, before all the big crossovers, had its own identity and didn't feel like a giant advertisement. If you do this with Fortnite to too much of a degree, or you do this with Magic the Gathering to too much of a degree, Yu-Gi-Oh!, Fall Guys, whatever, it starts to feel like a walking billboard and less like a video game. And as much as advertisements are cool, I run ads on my stream, they make me a little bit of money. I watch ads / sponsor spots in YouTube videos of the YouTube movies I watch and react to. Content farming is cool. I don't think you should be one giant billboard and lose all of your identity to be said billboard. It's not a good thing for any game. It doesn't matter what it is. Especially a game that already has a pre-existing audience and game design and core game mechanics, right? Magic the Gathering is very old. It's been around longer than I've been alive, if I'm not mistaken. I'm 28, about to be 29 years old. I think Magic's already 30. Magic already 30? That's older than me. So it had a core fan base and a core audience before the crossover started, and a long life and a healthy life before, even if there was some hiccups and bumps in the road, very healthy and long life before that. And if they remove these things, it will continue to have a healthy and long life. It might even have a better life if they remove these things, because it will bring in more natural players instead of bringing in players who are brought in by the idea, the concept of crossovers. Like, ooh, what's the next big crossover going to be? What's the next big crossover? What's it? You know, that's kind of how Fortnite is feeling right now, where every season has to feel like some sort of big major crossover event, or have some big major crossover event for it to feel popular among casual players that don't already like the general Fortnite game plan and gameplay. And I do. I'm a big fan of like just the generic Fortnite. You give me good movement, you give me cool guns, and you give me a nice map. You don't need, I don't think you need Marvel, Star Wars, Harry Potter, Avatar, The Last Airbender IPs in that. I don't think you need it. I think the game stands on its own legs without those things, and adding those things in every season just creates this sense of this insatiable appetite from the fans of those crossovers. And the same thing is, it's a slippery slope. The same thing could happen with something like Magic the Gathering, or any game that is trying and doing tons of crossovers. I think Brawlhalla is another good example, right? Like Brawlhalla has a bunch of crossover skins and a bunch of crossover skin characters, right? There's actual characters who are real characters in the game, like Rayman, who is a crossover, but then there's also things like Ezio, Ryu, Chun-Li, The Walking Dead crossovers, things like that. That's just how I feel about it. It might not be that big of a deal. I could totally be tripping and just some old man who's talking completely out of pocket, but it's a scary thing to do, knowing what it could lead to, and it's almost logical outcome, right? Like, I don't know if I'm a cynic in that way, but I feel as if it's the logical outcome that games will end up that way if you continually push them over and over and over with crossover content. If you guys didn't notice, like, Warzone has its own identity and only rarely gets a crossover. I think there's like a Nicki Minaj skin, and there was like there's like some anime skins in there now or something, and it looks funny and they're a little jarring, but there's not tons of them all over the place that make the game feel like it's lost its identity as a Call of Duty and as a Warzone. Though, I mean, I think Call of Duty lost its identity a long time ago. We could say after like Black Ops 3, probably, or maybe Black Ops 4. That's how I feel. I like the idea of crossovers in very marginal situations, especially in games that were like built with crossovers in mind and did not have previous install bases and established player numbers beforehand, right? If you're using it as a way to bolster your player numbers, it's a slippery slope and could lead to an influx of new players who are only there for the crossovers and don't interact with your game otherwise. And that's probably not healthy either, because that means now you have to continually spend money getting those IPs, or renewing licenses, or figuring out which specific IP is even left to do. There's only so many, and there's only so many popular ones that you can use to reach a new audience. How do you guys feel about crossovers and the Fortnitification of games, including Brawlhalla and Magic the Gathering Arena? Do you think it's healthy for games? Do you think that it's going to lead to a slippery slope where people could become too invested in only the crossovers and nothing else? Am I making a mountain out of a molehill? Is this one big nothing burger? Leave it down in the comment section down below. Like the video, subscribe to the channel. This has been Beanie Thuggish talking about the Fortnitification of video games and why kind of scares me a little bit. Signing out and saying,